First story. 2 days after 19 children, 2 teachers were killed in fourth-grade Texas classroom, there's growing scrutiny of the police response and whether authorities could have intervened earlier. Regional Director with the Texas Department of Public Safety, Victor Escalon Jr., said at a news conference Thursday the shooter was not confronted by anyone as he entered the elementary school in Uvalde, contradicting earlier reports. He said officers arrived on the scene 4 minutes after the shooter entered the building and that the gunman was killed approximately an hour after arriving at the campus. Now, remember, this kid didn't just show up at the school. This kid ran his truck into a ditch, started firing at a funeral home and people who were attending a funeral. He missed them. Then he walks to the school and he's in front of the school for 12 minutes. Now, did anyone at the funeral home or at the funeral, did anyone call the police? A neighbor now says he heard shots across the street from the school. He looks out and he sees the gunman. For 12 minutes, did he call 911? We don't know these answers, but we damn well better find them. People are starting to get very angry, and they have been angry for a while. They were angry as the police sat there and did nothing for about an hour. Now, here's the thing. According to Rose Gomez, she heard about the school and the shooting, and that's where her children are. In second and third grade. She heard about it. She drove 40 miles to Robb Elementary School. When she arrived, she said the cops were just standing outside the fence. They weren't going in or running anywhere. Now, she said officers inside the school were evacuating school students and the employees, as well as calling for backup. There was a lot going on, but nobody was going in to get the guy. Department of Safety officials previously said an armed school officer confronted, but we now know that's not true. Caitlin Martinez, a fourth grader at Robb Elementary, was playing with other kids during recess when he first appeared on school grounds with an AR-15 style rifle. We all ran in and they told us to sit down and they turned off the lights and locked the door. Okay, so now fourth graders are running in and saying there's a kid on the playground with a gun. So what do? They don't leave the school. They hunker down. Okay, all right. Was there anybody at the school with a gun? Was there any police officer, any safety officer with a gun? Caitlin said 3 police officers eventually came to the door of her room, which was near the end, one in where Ramos locked himself in. They told us there was a gunman, so we had to evacuate and we had to run to the parking spaces. Outside, she found her mother. Ms. Gomez, a farm supervisor, was also waiting outside for her children. She said she was one of the numerous parents who began encouraging, first politely and then with a little more urgency, police and other law enforcement to enter the school sooner. After minutes, she said, U.S. Marshals put her in handcuffs and telling her that she was being arrested for intervening in an active investigation. Ms. Gomez said she then convinced a local Uvalde police officer whom she knew to persuade the marshals to set her free. Spokesman for the U.S. Marshals Service said, "We never put anybody in handcuffs." Okay, so now mom's a liar too? Our deputy marshals just maintained order and peace in the midst of grief-stricken community that was gathering around the school, he said, quote, Ms. Gomez described the scene like this. She said she saw a father tackled and thrown to the ground by police and a third father pepper sprayed. Once freed from her cuffs, now listen to this, Once freed from her cuffs, Ms. Gomez made her distance from the crowd, jumped the school fence, ran inside, grabbed her 2 children, and sprinted out to the school with them. Okay, so the police can't do that, but a mom did. I don't know if you have seen the video, but the video is out of control. We've never seen this before that I remember at a school shooting where the parents are like, "Go in. What are you doing?" Now I'm going to play some audio, and then I want to describe and show some pictures here of the scene. First, here's the police lieutenant on why the cops didn't go in. Listen. Cut 4.
There was multiple officers that arrived on scene. There was 3 officers that arrived that made entry at one of the entrances where the gunman actually made entrance to. We had another 4 officers that made entry at the other entrance of the school. So there was officers inside that school. As they were taking gunfire, they were also calling in for reinforcement, backup, tactical teams, snipers, any additional personnel that could arrive to assist to not only with the situation, but also to assist in evacuating students and teachers. At that time, that's when a U.S. Border Patrol tactical officer arrived, also with a Zavala County Sheriff's deputy, as well as 2 additional Uvalde Police Department officers were able to go into that classroom with a ballistic shield as cover. And of course, we know that one of those officers, an agent, actually was shot, was grazed at the top of the head, but they were able to shoot and kill the suspect.
But don't current best practices, Lieutenant, call for officers to disable a shooter as quickly as possible, regardless of how many officers are actually on site?
Correct. The active shooter situation, you want to stop the killing, you want to preserve life, but also one thing that, of course, the American people need to understand is that officers are making entry into this building. They do not know where the gunman is. They are hearing gunshots. They are receiving gunshots. At that point, if they proceeded any further, not knowing where this suspect was at, they could have been shot. They could have been killed. And at that point, that gunman would have the opportunity to kill other people inside that school. So they were able to contain that gunman inside that classroom so that he was not able to go to any other portions of the school to commit any other killings.
Yeah, but you knew where he was in the classroom. You knew where he was. So the first guy's in where they don't know who the gunman is or where he is. Okay, I buy into that. But he was in the classroom and he'd killed everybody. I don't know. Break down the door. You know where he is. Now here's the Texas DPS official, again, not giving details on why they didn't break down the door. Listen.
You guys have said that he was barricaded. Can you explain to us how he was barricaded and why you guys cannot breach that door?
So I am taking all your questions into consideration. We will be doing updates. We will be doing updates to answer those questions.
To answer that question now, sir.
What is your name?
Shimon Prokopets from CNN.
I hear you.
Because we've been given a lot of bad information. So why don't you clear all of this up now and explain to us how it is that your officers who were in there for an hour, yes, rescuing people, but yet no one was able to get inside that room.
Shimon, we will circle back with you. We want to answer all your questions. We want to give you the why.
We'll circle back.
That's our job. So give us time. I'm taking all your questions. I'm taking them back to talk to the team.
Can you tell us how the door was barricaded?
Look, thank you for being here.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Here's the problem. Here is the problem. It is much greater than just this shooting. And we are on the precipice of chaos in this country. Total chaos. Here's why. I hate to be the one to break the news on this news to you, but here it is from BuffaloNews.com. Law enforcement officers are investigating whether a retired federal agent had 30 minutes advance notice of a white supremacist plan to murder black people at a Buffalo supermarket. 2 law enforcement officials have briefed the Buffalo News. Authorities believe the former agent, believed to be from Texas, was one of at least 6 individuals who regularly communicated with an accused gunman, Peyton Gendron, in an online chat room where racist hatred was discussed. The 2 law enforcement sources with direct knowledge of the investigation stated these individuals were invited by Gendron to read about his mass shooting plans and the target location 30 minutes before the gunman arrived on the scene. The FBI has verified that none of the people that were on this chat room with him 30 minutes prior, none of them called law enforcement to warn about the shooting. Okay, all right. So who's this agent? What was this agent doing? Please, dear God, don't tell me he was an undercover agent. Why was he on? If he and the other 6 people on the phone, they are accessory to murder, and they should be charged like that. But I'm telling you right now, let me show you a picture. I'll describe it if you're just listening to us on radio. Let me show you the pictures here. Now, that man is a U.S. Marshal. This is in Uvalde. He is almost fully loaded with tactical gear. He's wearing a helmet. He's got a vest on. Look at the gear that he has, including high-powered weapons. Show me one other picture. This one, you see what is probably a fully automatic weapon in the hands of this federal marshal. He is standing outside with the parents with a yellow plastic taser in his hand, getting ready to tase the parents. Why the hell did my tax dollars go to pay your salary, buy all of that tactical gear, all of your training, your body armor, and you're tasing the parents? When the average person doesn't have faith in anything, we arrive to the moment of the Bubba effect. Don't know what that is? I'll remind you in 60 seconds.
It's a fascinating thing to watch this develop because it really started as the heroes of the police and the Border Patrol that did all these amazing things, and that has switched. The narrative has switched quickly. I think you're right, though, to be a little hesitant to make sure we understand what the facts are. You know, there's no reason. We don't need to solve this today. What we need to do is get the right information and then make a judgment on it. You know, I'm just so tired. It's hard to understand, though. Everybody jumping to conclusions. I'm tired of everyone giving me bogus information because it will help their political side. Great. I can't. Hang on, just one more thing. The story that has affected me the most in all of these is the fact that the teacher who died with her students, her husband died, and they left behind 4 children. He died of a heart attack after.
You know what he was doing a month ago?
Immeasurable.
A month ago, he was going through a live shooter training at the school. Ugh. I mean, those poor kids. Can we stop all the political nonsense? Do you know what it's going to be like for any of those kids to walk into that school again next year?
You know, good example of waiting for the facts is one of the arguments the conservatives have made is, you know, harden these targets, make sure there's security there.
Yes.
And so the initial reporting was there was security there. They exchanged gunfire, could not stop this guy. He still got in. So the left went nuts and they said, hey, this proves your argument about security is not true. It doesn't even work. And now we find out that actually that exchange of gunfire did not occur. There was no officer there. So they went out on a limb immediately to try to take advantage of this shooting with politics. and now are totally burned by that because their narrative it was dumb anyway, but now we know the facts don't even support it. So it is important to make sure that we understand what occurred before. We don't need our narrative to be cemented today.
No, and you know what? I'm willing to give the cops the benefit of the doubt. I want to see all of the facts. But you know what really pisses me off is you had federal marshals there with sniper rifles, most likely fully automatic. What the hell were they doing? What were they doing besides tasing and cuffing parents, pepper spraying parents? It's despicable.